Can you get in shape without weight? Of course you can. As long as you have this much room and a floor, then you can get in shape by only doing calisthenics exercise.
I did calisthenics every morning for 30 days, and the results were nothing like I expected. Most people think you need heavy weights or a fancy gym membership to see real changes, but I wanted to prove that gravity and consistency are all you really need. I went from struggling to get out of bed to completely rewiring my body and mind. But there was one side effect I didn't see coming, a surprise outcome that completely changed how I view fitness, which I'll break down at the end. Let's be honest, we have all been there. I was tired, feeling skinny fat, and completely burned out. I had zero motivation to drive to the gym after a long day of work, and my discipline was at an all-time low. I needed a reset. I needed something that removed every single excuse I had. The goal wasn't just to get ripped, although I wanted that too. The goal was to build a system that worked even when I didn't want to. I wanted to fix my posture, skyrocket my energy levels, and see exactly how much strength I could build using only my own body weight. I decided to treat this like a scientific experiment. I set measurable goals. I tracked my max reps for push-ups, pull-ups, dips, and squats. I took photos to track physical changes, and I kept a journal for my mood and energy. This wasn't just a workout, it was a lifestyle audit. Quick side note before we continue. If you want a simple no gym system that removes excuses the same way this challenge did for me, I've linked the exact program I recommend in the description. It's built around short, body weight sessions that fit into real life. You don't need it for this video, but it makes consistency a lot easier. If I was going to do this, I had to do it right. If I started cutting corners, the entire experiment wouldn't matter. So I established a strict set of rules that I could not break. Rule number 1, the workout had to happen immediately after waking up. No checking emails, no scrolling social media, just straight into movement. Rule number 2, the session had to last between 20 and 30 minutes. Rule number 3, I had to stick to a simple 5-movement routine consisting of push-ups, pull-ups, squats, dips, and lunges. Rule number 4, absolutely no equipment other than a pull-up bar and the floor. And finally, rule number 5, no skipping days. 7 days a week for 4 weeks straight. I kept my diet and sleep relatively constant to ensure that any changes I saw were strictly from the calisthenics bodyweight workout. Day 1 was a humble slap in the face. You think you're in decent shape until you try to do strict form calisthenics at 6 a.m. My body was stiff, my range of motion was terrible, and honestly, I just wanted to go back to sleep. I hit the floor for my first set of push-ups, and by rep 12, my arms were shaking. The pull-ups were even worse. I could barely chin the bar 3 times before my form collapsed. I recorded my baseline stats, 15 shaky push-ups, 3 pull-ups, and a plank that lasted 45 seconds before my core gave out. I felt heavy, slow, and incredibly weak. It was a rough start, but it gave me a clear starting line, and the first week was pure survival mode. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, waking up early to train when your body is sore is miserable. This was the wake-up call phase. Every morning my alarm would go off, and my brain would instantly come up with 5 different reasons to stay in bed. The delayed onset muscle soreness, or DOMS, hit me hard on day 3. My chest was tight, my lats were tender, and sitting down on a chair was a challenge after the squats. But I pushed through. By the end of the week, the physical struggle was still there, but I noticed a tiny mental shift. Even though I was tired, I felt a strange sense of accomplishment before I even had my morning coffee. I had already won the first battle of the day. My numbers hadn't moved much, maybe 1 extra push-up here and there, but the habit was starting to take root. Then came week 2, the adaptation phase. This is where things started to get interesting. The overwhelming soreness began to fade, replaced by a feeling of tightness and activation. I wasn't dreading the alarm as much. My body was beginning to expect the movement. I noticed that my posture during the day was naturally correcting itself. I wasn't slouching as much at my desk, but the biggest surprise in week 2 wasn't my muscles, it was my digestion and morning focus. Waking up and moving immediately seemed to jumpstart my metabolism and clear out the brain fog way faster than caffeine ever did. Strength-wise, I was seeing a linear progression. I went from 15 push-ups to 20 clean reps. My pull-ups increased to 5. I was feeling stronger, but more importantly, I was feeling capable. Week 3 was the breakthrough. It felt like a switch had been flipped. The movements that felt impossible on day 1 were now becoming automatic. My form cleaned up significantly. I was controlling the descent on every rep and exploding up with power. I looked in the mirror and finally saw it. Muscle definition. My triceps were popping, my shoulders looked broader, and my stomach was noticeably flatter. This is the power of a consistent morning fitness routine. It wasn't magic, it was volume, but right when I got confident, I hit a wall. On day 20, I felt a sharp twinge in my left shoulder during dips. It was a terrifying moment. Was I about to lose the challenge to an injury? I had to check my ego, slow down my reps, and focus entirely on perfect technique rather than high numbers. It taught me that calisthenics isn't just about strength, it's about body awareness. I navigated around the pain, focused on mobility, and kept the streak alive. Before we get into the final week, here's the truth. Most people don't fail because workouts don't work. They fail because the system doesn't fit real life. That's why I recommend the program linked below. It gives you a clear, no gym calisthenics structure you can actually stick to, even on busy or low motivation days. If you're tired of starting strong and burning out, check it out after the video. By week 4, the change was obvious. Not just executing the workout, I attacked it. My energy levels were high all day. I felt lighter, more confident in my attire, and sharper at work. Day 30's benchmark retest showed a huge difference. Before I share the figures, I must discuss the big surprise I teased earlier. I expected physical changes, but not mental clarity. Getting up and doing something hard every morning influenced every aspect of my life. I worked harder, was more patient with my family, and was less anxious. The workout becomes moving meditation. We'll break down the final findings since numbers don't lie. Physically, I was different. I moved from 15 shaky reps to 40 rigorous reps for max push-ups. My pull-ups went from 3 to 12. My plank time increased, easily reaching 2 minutes. I shed 4 pounds, especially around my waist, but my erect posture and strong muscles made me look bigger. My clothing are tighter in the chest and arms. Beyond the cosmetics, my resting heart rate fell and my sleep quality improved greatly. I was sleeping faster and waking up refreshed. This 30-day transformation showed that high-volume basics work better than inconsistently sophisticated routines. I would modify several things if I did this again. I learned that daily movement patterns can cause overuse injuries like my shoulder injury. If you do this, I recommend a split routine. Push one day, pull and legs the next, or extra mobility training and stretching. I would also vary leg exercise. Air squats are fine, but you need additional resistance or intense activities like jump squats to advance. Finally, since morning exercise on an empty stomach demands immediate replenishment, I would prioritize protein intake earlier in the day to aid recuperation. Should you accept this challenge? I say yes, but with a catch. This is ideal for beginners and intermediates building discipline and strength. The ultimate no excuses workout. This will lift you out of a slump if you're 1850. As an advanced lifter, you may use this as a morning primer rather than your main workout because you will need more intensity. For most viewers, 30 days of morning movement will transform your life more than any supplement. And I'm already planning my next experiment. I'm thinking about taking on a high-intensity interval training challenge, or maybe something even more extreme like the Navy SEAL fitness test. Trust me, you do not want to miss what happens next because the results are always unpredictable. If you got value from this, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and comment down below what challenge you think I should suffer through next. Go start your day 1.